Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. Well, we're looking at Joshua chapters 23 and 24, the last two chapters of this book. We'll be talking about Joshua's last words. You know, the last words a person leaves before he leaves this earth are words that we want to remember. I mean, someone is getting ready to die. They're getting ready to draw their last breath, and they're getting ready to go into eternity. And they're thinking about not themselves usually. They're thinking about their loved ones, their friends, their family, and their nation, as Joshua was in these two chapters. But first, before we read these verses and have a few words about them, let me ask you again, as I've asked so many times here recently, if you would say a special prayer today for our little grandson, Luke. He goes back into surgery this morning at 7:15 at Roanoke Memorial Hospital. He will be having the shunts replaced. Actually, they've already been taken out. They've had drains on his brain fluid for the last couple weeks, trying to get rid of an infection. And this morning they're doing extensive surgery to restruct everything, put the shunts back in, the tubing all the way back into his intestines, and very difficult technical surgery for several hours this morning. So we ask that you would pray for him, pray for a quick recovery, and that this time it'll work. This is about the 16th or 17th surgery on his little brain, and he's come through every one so far very well, and it's our prayer the same on this one, but this would be the last one. This would be the one that would work for the rest of his little life and his life as long as God gives him breath. And so we thank the Lord for him. He's a miracle baby, and we thank you for your prayers, and ask that you would continue to pray for him. So God bless you for that. Now we're looking at Joshua 23 and 24, these last two chapters, Joshua's last words. And so what he does, he gathers Israel and the tribal leaders and the people around him, either at Shechem or maybe at Ephraim or at Shiloh. And there he gives them these words. And so it came to pass a long time after the Lord had given rest to Israel from all their enemies round about, that Joshua was old, advanced in age. And Joshua called for all Israel, for their elders and for their heads, for their judges and for their officers. And he said to them, I am old, advanced in age. And actually in verse 14, I believe it is, he says, I am going the way of all the earth. I'm about to die. I'm going the way everybody is going to face death one day. I'm going to also. And so I'm going the way of all the earth. And I've got something to say to you. And so he says verses 3 and 4 and 5, basically he recalls and reminds them at all that God has done for them. That's good for us to, from time to time, go look back over our life. Never forget reading years ago a little article called The Tyranny of the Urgent, The Tyranny of the Urgent. If we're not careful, we spend our life doing busy things, things that urgent have to be done right now, the tyranny of the urgent. The urgent things call for our immediate attention, and we spend our life being busy taking care of these urgent things, and we never stop to do the important things. We never really accomplish something important in life. How sad, but it's so true. And Joshua said, I don't want that to happen to you. Remember what's important. He says, you have seen all that the Lord your God has done to all these nations because of you. For the Lord your God is he who has fought for you. See, I have divided to you by lot these nations that remain to be an inheritance for your tribes from the Jordan, with all the nations that I have cut off, as far as the great sea westward. And the Lord your God will expel them from before you and drive them out from your sight. So shall you possess their land as the Lord your God promised you. And so Joshua was saying, remember what the Lord has done for you. And yes, there are still heathen in the land. There's still pagans in the land. There's still some of these tribal remnants in the land that need to be driven off. Well, God took care of it in the past. He'll take care of it in the future. You can rest assured God keeps his promises. And that's what Joshua wanted the people to remember initially. God keeps his promises. And my friend, God keeps his promises to you and me today too. You need to remember that. Well, God bless you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And again, thank you for your prayers for Luke today. God bless.